partition styles are MBR and GPT. What is MBR? MBR means master boot record, whereas a GPT means GUID partition table. Of course, MBR or GPT both are tables only. Okay, both are tables only. If you take a hard disk, so for example, I have taken a hard disk. It is an empty hard disk, nothing is there inside. It is a fresh hard disk. The hard disk, when we are going to create any partitions or installation of operating system, it should be initialized as a MBR or a GPT. Okay, this is my hard disk. This hard disk has to be initialized as a either MBR or a GPT. So what will happen if we initialize? Okay, look at here. This MBR record or a GPT record will be created at the start of this hard disk. Means there is a hard disk contains a platter, data stores in the platter, right? That is divided into tracks and sectors. The first sector, it is nothing but a first sector. First track, first sector contains your MBR record GPT table. Okay, or GPT. Okay, guys, what is this MBR or a GPT table contents? That is one part is there. So we'll try. What is this MBR or a GPT build contents? When a new or a fresh hard disk or SSD inserted, we are in a hard disk mode only, not in SSD mode. Okay, so when new or a fresh hard disk inserted, yes sir, I think yeah, inserted. Okay, it should be initialized as MBR or GPT. Initialized as a MBR or a GPT. Okay, so MBR or GPT information source record or a table stores at first sector of hard disk. That is the first thing. So in another important information, what it contains. MBR or GPT records contains about partitions. Okay, Okay, when you take a hard disk, partitions are there, 4 partitions are there, 5 partitions are there. About your partition informations, location of operating system, bootloader information, okay, location of bootloader, operating system, primary partition information, extended partitions, extended and logical drive information, all are maintaining small letters, no? So extended or a logical drive informations, okay, size of partitions, sector informations, okay, like this. So much information stored in the MBR or GPT. Okay, so what is the difference? Like you initialize hard disk as a MBR disk or a GPT disk. Here it is. You can see you have to initialize your hard disk. This is, see, new hard disk is inserted. It is not initialized. I initialize the disk, either MBR or GPT I can able to put it. Okay, it is asking. So if you initialize your disk as MBR, what will happen? Okay, you can create 4 primary partitions. That's it. You cannot create more than it. So total hard disk, you can create maximum of 4 primary partitions, or you can create 3 primary partitions. Okay, and the remaining is become one extended. The remaining become one extended partition. In this extended, you can get a logical drives. In this extended, you will get a multiple logical drives you can be able to create. Multiple logical drives you can get it. Okay. Next, each partition. Okay. The partition size max support. The maximum max support is up to 2 terabytes. Already I said max, right? So 2 terabytes. So maximum up to 2 terabytes of we can able to create a single partition. Okay, this is how it is look like, guys. So I creating I'm taking one hard disk. So very simple. This is MBR type. Okay, this is a hard disk. This MBR type of hard disk. No, not this. This one. One partition created. Another partition is created. Another partition is created. Okay. So this is a first one primary. Another primary. 3 primary completed. Automatically remaining become extended partitions. I'll keep it that one. So we'll see. After 3 primary completed, I want to create a new partition. New partition. This partition automatically when you creating a fourth partition nowadays, guys, not earlier days, nowadays, you create a fourth partition, automatically this remaining space is become extended partition. Okay, remaining partition become one extended partition, entire partition. And what is this inside one? Okay, is a logical drive, not logical partition. It is a logical drive. That will make us do. Like this. You can create a multiple logical drives. Logical drives. Here I don't want to put in the coloring is again still difficult. You can fill the colors, but it is little difficult. Okay, so I know I'm not adding anything. Guys, this is the primary type. Primary, sorry, this is what we call MBR. This is what we call MBR. Next, what is GPT? MBR is completed. What is GPT? GUID partition tools. You can create a 128 primary partition. Actually, those partitions are not even a primary partitions, but just we are giving that information. What we are getting here, 128 primary partitions. Okay, no extended is required. Or a logical drives. No extended and logical drives. No extended, no logical drives. Partition support. Partition, each partition size support. Not disk support, guys. Each partition size support is more than 2 terabyte. Means you can take less than 2 terabyte also. So it will support more than 2 terabyte up to 18 EB as per the certain textbooks. Some people say it's a 9.2 ZB. Okay, so in a certain textbook it shows 9.2 ZB. Okay, but I have referred certain main textbooks like Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Okay, Windows Server type of textbooks. Okay, so those from that material it is a 18 EB only. In Google it is showing a 9.2 ZB. Okay, so here it is 128 primary partition. So no extended, no logical diagrams like this. Okay, it is a pretty straight. Actually, in my classes, I will take about a I will show how to create a partitions. That kind of stuff is also there, but here it is. Schedule is changed. Meanwhile, we got multiple holidays. Okay, guys. So you got the point. Understand what is MBR, what is GPT? What are MBR or GPT, guys? It contains information about your hard disk, partitions, operating system, bootloader informations, okay, and your partition sizes, their sector ranges. Every information is in your MBR GPT. Without MBR and MBR or a GPT, we cannot able to manage the hard disk also. Okay. One small point I want to add here: while installing operating system, while installing OS, so to a fresh hard disk, okay, while installing operating system to the fresh OS, installing operating system to a fresh hard disk, okay, the hard disk initialize by OS automatically can be either MBR type or GPT. Okay, how it is, guys? Your system, your hardware is BIOS, and installing any kind of operating system. You're installing any operating system, new or old operating system. So it is MBR type of things. Your framework is UEFI, and you are installing new operating systems. Example, Windows 8 or Windows 10, okay, or CentOS 7 means Enterprise Linux means Linux, Enterprise Linux 7 and above, like new version of operating systems, and it will be initialized as a GPT automatically. UEFI composer. Next, in a few years back, we have a combination. There is a BIOS or UEFI. Okay. So hardware is, it is two options. Means it is a BIOS is there, UEFI is there. So based on your operating system, if it is a old BIOS, old OS, old type of operating system, BIOS automatically will selected MBR. It's new type of operating system. Okay, UEFI supported operating system. Then it is your version will be selected UEFI. Yeah, that will confuse, but this is we can try to understand. That is the relation between MBR and GPT, guys. BIOS store MBR record, UEFI store GPT records. Of course, after installation of operating system in BIOS also, it will have the information about your MBR record. Okay. Instead of this Okay, I can add that zero track also. We can do it. Okay, but I'm just not doing that one. Guys, understand this point, MBR and GPT. Okay. Already my app is disconnected automatically. I thought it is I'm online. It is got disconnected. If your people are not speaking, otherwise mine is good, no? So that is good.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, can you once repeat the MBR and GPT as a fastly?
Yeah, that is a good thing.
Little bit confusion.
Okay, good.
Sir, when you installing the operating system in your system,
Yes.
yes, then it MBR or GPT is automatically partition that hard disk, or we can do, we will do.
Yeah, very good. So, guys, slowly try to understand this part. Okay, so this is a fresh system. My system
Yes.
is fresh system. So, hard disk also very fresh. No MBR or GPT inside. Okay, no
Yes.
MBR or GPT. But you cannot select because if you don't see how to install operating system, I have a recorded videos are there. Please go through older videos. Like batch 17 is there. There is a batch 17 CTS batch. There you can find how to install Windows 10, Windows Server, and Linux also. Okay, and how to create a virtual machines using a VMware workstation, how to install VMware workstation, and how to download images. Okay, so you will start practicing from it. Okay, guys, while installing operating system, you don't get any choice of MBR or GPT selection. So there is a hard disk. You can create a partitions, but you don't get a chance of giving an option MBR or a GPT. Of course, you can verify while you are installing operating system is MBR type or GPT type. That is not preferable. Generally, you cannot initialize it is MBR or GPT. Okay, it will be automatically decide. It will be automatically decide. In your PC, you have a motherboard, right? So you have a motherboard. Okay, think like this. You are using a BIOS chip. BIOS is a older version, right? So BIOS chip or UEFI chip. Two conditions. You are using BIOS. My old system it has a by default BIOS chip is there. Like my ROM chip is BIOS. So my firmware is BIOS. And I'm installing what are the operating system, new operating system or old operating system. So compulsory they should be compatible with the BIOS chip. So my operating system will decide how to initialize the hard disk. Either it is as a MBR type or a GPT type. Okay. So voice and this BIOS. You have a BIOS operating BIOS. Your voice will decide whether it should be initialized as MBR or GPT. So it will initialize as a MBR only because it's a BIOS support MBR. BIOS don't know GPT. Okay. So like that. So your firmware is BIOS. So new firmware is UEFI. So here purchase a new laptop or a desktop. Now we are getting a UEFI. UEFI. Now you are installing an operating system. The operating system also should support this UEFI type. So this operating system understand means new type of operating system. For example, Windows 8, Windows 11, Windows 10, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Red Hat Linux 7, not 6, 7, 8, 9. So new type of operating system support UEFI, and this operating system initialize your disk as a GPT. So you don't initialize it as a MBR or GPT while installing operating system. Okay. If it is a BIOS, MBR. If it is UEFI plus new operating system, it is GPT. What about a old operating systems? For example, I am installing Windows 7. Okay, I want to install Windows 7. So Windows 7 does not support UEFI. That is problem. Okay. So nowadays we are not using Windows 7, right? Just for a new laptops or desktops, guys. Some people keep asking, Windows 10, it is a waste operating system. They invented that one. Okay. They decide what is waste and what is good. Okay. Every system has their own faults are there, guys. Even Windows 10 itself. Okay. So I am not become a judgmental here. So simple thing, they still want a Windows 7. Windows 7 means whenever the guys hardware changes, operating system also compatible operating system you should install, because the drivers issue will occur, firmware related issues also will occur. That's why always compatible operating system is important. But just I am telling few years back. Few years means 4 or 5 years back. Okay. Still there is a hardware and it will compatible for a Windows 7 as well as a Windows 8, like that time. 7 to 8, 8 to 10 time. Okay, before 10. Windows 10 releases. So that time hardware is also dual type firmware they are giving. One is either BIOS type or UEFI. So you want to install old operating system, BIOS will help you to how to install operating system. If you are installing a new operating system that time, like a Windows 8 you want to install, UEFI will help you. Okay. So you're installing old operating system, it is MBR. If you are installing new operating system, it is GPT. So this is again a little confusion. Okay. But guys, BIOS means MBR, UEFI means GPT. UEFI support only new operating system. So that's why new operating system plus UEFI, it is GPT. But I said OS, not old or new. Because your firmware is BIOS, whether it is operating system is old or new, it is MBR only. Your operating system is either old operating system type like a Windows 7, or a new operating system is like maybe a Windows 8 or Windows 10. It is MBR only. Got the point? Automatically the OS and your BIOS version will decide. Okay. Next one is, if you are inserted a new hard disk, fresh hard disk, you are inserted, system is okay, running, okay, voice is there, you are inserted a new hard disk. How to insert a new hard disk? First shut down your PC, remove your power connections, all power, main power supplies, disconnect a power supply, then insert a hard disk, connect the hard disk. Okay, both the power connectivity and data connectivity to hard disk. Connect it, connect the main power supplies to the machine and turn on. Okay, so that is a fresh hard disk you are inserted. The hard disk does not have any type. It is either an MBR or GPT, and you have to go to disk management like this. Go to disk management. In the disk management, you have to initialize the disk as MBR or GPT. Either MBR or a GPT. You will see the disk here and you can initialize. I will show what will happen like this. So I'm going to create a one virtual hard disk to show you that practical, guys. Where it is? Yeah, it is. I'm creating. Just I'm creating a 10 GB disk in my H drive, dynamically expanding. See, hard disk is added. So what are I done? So that is virtual hard disk. But think like this, guys. New hard disk is added. It is showing not initialized. The first one I told, that is MBR GPT decided by operating system, depends upon your built-in firmware, either BIOS or UEFI, and you based on your operating system. Hard disk will be either MBR or GPT. Automatically it will be assigned, initialized. But you inserted a additional hard disk. You inserted a additional hard disk. So that hard disk, either it is MBR type or a GPT type. You should decide that one. You have to initialize the hard disk. You add a additional hard disk. You have to initialize it as a either MBR or GPT. So can you see it is not initialized? Right click, initialize the disk. Okay, you can select MBR or GPT. You can select either it is MBR or GPT. I am selecting as a MBR. What will happen? We'll see. I'm selecting as a MBR. So it is right click. Can you see it is convert into GPT? Convert into GPT. It means it is a MBR disk. This is a 10 GB disk, guys. So I'm going to create a partition. So it is a fresh disk. It is MBR disk. So I'm creating a new simple volume. The first one is something 2 GB 2048 is a 2 GB 2048 MB is a 2 GB. I am putting my file system NTFS only, finish. So new partition is created. So how much is done? 2 completed. It is available. Again, I'm creating another 2 GB. It is 2048. What is MBR? How many primary partitions you can create it? 1 primary completed, 2 primary completed. Here, while I'm creating, I'm not telling primary or secondary. I'm not telling is it a primary or secondary. Okay, so no option is asking because of that option is removed after the Windows XP. Windows Vista 7 onwards, that option is not there. So I created a multiple partition. C, I, J, K. This one is 1 GB only because this is the 5 GB. 3 primary completed. I'm going to create a 4th partition. I'm going to create a 4th partition 2 GB 2048. Okay, 2 GB 4th partition. So what happened? Primary, primary, primary. What is this color? Extended. This entire part is extended. So this is the 2 GB partition, remaining 3 GB free. Both are in the same extended. So 2 GB It is a logical drive, it is created. And in a 3 GB, I'm going to create one more partition. So 1 GB partition is created. Okay. So in this one, I can create a multiple partitions, multiple logical drives. I can able to create it. If you see, this is I am creating only 3 primary partitions because it's a MBR type. So converting to GPT means this hard disk is MBR disk. This is GPT, which is decided by operating system. My OS drive it is. Okay, so this contains operating system, and while installing operating system, it is automatically a GPT partition. Okay, convert into MBR means it is GPT. Convert into GPT means it is MBR. Convert into GPT is MBR. Okay, so in MBR we can create 3 primary, and remaining become automatically an extended while you are creating 4th partition. 3 primary completed while you are creating 4th partition, the entire remaining unallocated become a single extended. In extended, you can create a logical partitions. Guys, understand this? MBR, GPT, how to create a partition. So I'm deleting these partitions. This is a deleting partition. I'm deleting this one also. See, this is the extended 5 GB extended free space. I can create a logical partition. Simply, if you create a partition, it will understand it is logical or any other partition. You know, this is a 5 GB. From 5 GB, I will take 1 GB and add it to K. This is 1 GB. K drive is a 1 GB, and this is a 5 GB unallocated. I want to add a 1 GB to from there to here. Right click, extend volume. So it is right click, extend volume. So there is another 5 GB, which is showing 5 GB. I want to add a 2 GB 2048 to my K drive. K drive is 1 GB. Now how much it is become? 3 GB. Okay, how much it is become? 3 GB. So here it is reduced. 5 become 3. Here 1 become 3. What happened? 2 GB is added to here. I'm deleting this volume also just to show the practical, guys. Just show how to do it. You can add this 6 GB to J drive. J drive is 2 GB. This is 6. If you want to add something from there to here, you can add it. Or otherwise delete it. So I deleted this. Okay, completely I deleted. All the partitions are deleted. So if you look at here, you can get a convert into GPT. How can I get a convert into GPT? You cannot get a convert into GPT here. It's a grade, but it is highlighted here. So you want to convert from MBR to GPT or GPT to MBR, all the partitions you should delete it. Means if it is contains the data, you lost the data. Okay, so this is a basic disk, and it is MBR disk. I'm converting into GPT. So I convert this into GPT. That's it is showing convert into MBR. Now it is a disk is GPT disk. I'm creating a volumes. First one is 2048. So one partition is created. It is not showing it is a primary, but it is showing color as a primary, but it is showing basic data partition. Okay, it's not even a direct primary also. I'm creating another partition, 1 GB partition. Because I have taken very small partition. I have to take 30-40 GB, then it is good. So it is 2 GB, 1 GB, 2 partitions completed. Now I'm taking another 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 completed. What about the fourth one? And I'm creating something 512 MB because the small disk 512 MB I'm creating. So what happened? Fourth one, extended is not created. Can you see? Extended or logical drives are not created. It is same sequence only, nothing, no difference. It's about all four are basic data partitions only. Again, I'm creating another one. So last time I will create a 1024. It is. I didn't select any separately, just like earlier how I created. Now also I created like this, guys. You can create a 128 partitions if it is a GPT. Got it?
Yes, sir.
What I have to do? I have to delete. You can extend the volume. You can shrink the volume. I didn't show you how to shrink the volume. So, okay. I'll show that option also because I showed how to create a volume and all, but I didn't show you. So I'm creating one single drive. For example, entire 10 GB as a single partition. Now I have a lot of space inside. I want to make it as a 2. Okay, actually I have done this on this H drive. Okay, so no, I'm not doing that one. Okay, so anyway, this is iDrive we have. So this is iDrive 10 GB drive. Now I want a some extra drive, means no entire 10 drive 10 G 10 don't want to, I want to split. Right click, shrink volume. Extended is disabled. Why? Because of no unallocated partitions. Okay, so shrink volume. Okay, how much you can able to shrink? Up to 7 GB, but I want only 4 GB. 4096 is a 4 GB. So it is a totally 10 GB drive. So I am taking out of 4, out of it, it is a 4 GB. Now what happened? This is 4 GB unallocated, almost 6 GB I drive. Now 4 GB become unallocated. So what I done? I shrink 10 GB to 6 GB. The remaining space become unallocated. So you can create a new volume inside. Maybe you want to create 2048 2 GB volume. I want to create inside. See how we can create it. Or I can create a entire 4 GB part. Okay. Okay, I can like a 6 GB, 4 GB entirely I want to create, but I created 2 GB. So I have a 2 GB unallocated. I want to add 2 to 2. 2 plus 2 I want to add unallocated to this one. Right click, extend volume. Okay, completely added the 2 GB to 2 GB. Now it is 4 GB, 6 GB. 2 drives are created now. Guess it's just a playing only. If you know how to create a virtual hard disk, then you can play with it. Do not play with your physical machines. Okay, why? Because if you do mistake, it is not just a mistake, guys. It is sometimes very big mistake. Okay. If it is a virtual hard disk, no problem, because it does not contain any data. This is C drive, my data. F drive, very important data. D drive, very, very important data are there. E drive, all our class related data are there. This is Z drive, of course, my operating system, download applications, those are there. Downloaded application, downloaded operating system files are there. H drive contains virtual machines. What is this drive contains? Nothing.
Sir,
Yeah, tell me.
yes, sir, when we will inserting a new device, new hard disk in this system, then the old data will be removed.
No.
Yeah. When we are converting to MBR to GPT, then the data will erase that particular part.
You have already one hard disk is there. Okay. This
Yeah.
hard disk contains a data.
Yeah.
Whether it is MBR or GPT, it contains the partitions, it contains the data. That's it. Next, you insert a new hard disk. Okay. It does not affect on your old hard disk or existing data.
Yeah.
It does not affect. This is you're inserting new hard disk means it does not affect on this one. Okay, that is different configurations also there. I'm not talking about it. So simple. This is my disk 0 and this is the disk 1. This is not affect on this one. This is another hard disk. You create a partitions, you store a data, the data will be stored here only. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, I think I want to skip both MBR GPT plus partitioning, but I told partitioning also. Okay. So go to disk management. We can do the disk management using a command line interface, guys. So disk CMD, just type like a CMD from here. CMD, run as an administrator. Disk part. Command is disk part. Okay, so this is it will list your disk like a list disk. List disk. See, it is showing my disk 0 is a GPT, not dynamic but GPT. Disk 1 is MBR. Disk 0 is 500 GB. Disk 1 is 1 terabyte. So I want to do certain practicals on it. So I will select this. This is command line. Until unless you know better, you should not touch it. Okay. Next. Another one is disk MGMT.MSC. That one, which is I showed just already. Disk MGMT.MSC. So this is the disk management. Either you can run as administrator or directly you can open, because generally we are our self administrators. So you can see the disk. Want to attach a new hard disk. I'm attaching a virtual hard disk. Okay. Okay. I'm attached a virtual hard disk. So I want to create a partition. I want to initialize the GPT or MBR, or I want to define a file system. I can do it. So I can initialize the disk. I can make it as offline, online, convert basic disk to dynamic disk. You can convert MBR to GPT. You can create a partition like a new partition, shrinking volume, extending volume, deleting a volume. This is part already I showed initial volume also. Using this, you can do software write concept also. In disk management, you can do software write like a spanned volume, stripped volume. Can you see? Spanned volume, stripped volume. Actually, it should show mirror volume. Okay, spanned volume, stripped volume option is showing. Okay, of course, in servers you can do simple volume is generally volume. What it is, right, guys? It is a stripped volume and a mirror volume, right? For options also there. Okay, so these are the things about your disk management. So last one I will tell about a file system. Then I will give you a small break. Guys, understand something like what is MBR, what is GPT, what is partition? Why should we create a partition? To store operating systems, applications, data separately. Okay, guys, next one is file system. When you create a partition or you have a drive or a device, you want to store a data in the device, we need a file system. File system tells how to arrange data in the drive or a device. So which one you will use? Okay. The different devices are there. You have a pen drive, memory cards, hard disk, SSDs, whatever it is the devices, guys. There is a file system. There is a file system. So if without file system, we cannot able to store the data. Okay. So in Windows, generally FAT and NTFS, mainly NTFS. We are all using NTFS file system, not FAT file system. We are all using NTFS file system. Okay. FAT, file allocation table, NTFS, new technology file system. In FAT, multiple variable type of FATs are there, guys. So FAT 12 is there, FAT 12 or 16 is there. FAT 32 is also there. I am talking about FAT 32. FAT 32 support up to 32 GB partition size. FAT 32, not all FATs. Okay, FAT 32 support up to 32 GB of partition size. Whereas NTFS support up to 2 terabyte and more than 2 terabyte. Because of why up to 2 terabyte? If you take just certain textbook, old textbooks, Windows XP, that time NTFS version is support up to 2 terabyte. Now it is supporting more than 2 terabyte. And you know what is the maximum it will support? The maximum is 18 EB, single partition. This NTFS having a certain features. One is security, encryption, compression, quota, and indexing. What is this security, guys? Security does not mean virus or antivirus. File access permissions. Access permissions. Read or write, allow, deny permissions in the security. So if some user or a certain group want to access your files or data, okay, so this NTFS security will give access permissions, whether this user can able to access or not. Encryption, data can be encrypted, so you can encrypt the data so any other user cannot able to access your data. They cannot able to read or write the data without encryption key. Without encryption key. Compression means we can compress the data, so then we can save the disk space. We can compress the data, we can save the disk space. Quota, quota means we can compress the data, so then we can save the disk space. We can compress the data, so then we can save the disk space. We can compress the data, so then we can save the disk space. We can compress the data, so then we can save the disk space. We can compress the data, so then we can save the disk space. We can compress the data, so then we can save the disk space. We can allocate disk space to multiple users. Like this user 2 GB can able to store. This user 20 GB can able to store. This user only 10 GB can able to store. Like a user wise, we can allocate a quota. Only this particular user can able to how much data they can store it. Indexing. Indexing means nowadays we are easily searching the files and folders from search. How it is possible? Because of the much improvement in the indexing. It index the data, so then we can easily find the data. Okay, guys, this is a FAT and NTFS. We are all using NTFS currently in our Windows operating system. But FAT is a universal. FAT supported by FAT file system, supported by not only Windows guys, Linux operating system, Ubuntu operating systems, different type of devices, their operating system and applications support FAT, including your mobile phones, old or new mobile phones, FAT. But FAT is a higher version is FAT32. In a FAT, the higher version is FAT32, which is support up to 32 GB. Yes, nowadays you are getting as SD cards. Olden days, SD cards are like a 512 MB, 1 GB, 2 GB, 8 GB, 4 GB. That is a memory cards. You have a 2 GB memory card means you have a rich parents or a rich brothers or sisters are there. Okay, 2 GB memory card, 4 GB memory card, 8 GB memory card, but up to 32 GB you can use FAT file system. But nowadays the memory cards also 64 GB, 128 GB, 256 GB, 512 GB, 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte. So maximum in market up to 2 terabyte of SD cards are available, and the device support is also there. Like you are going for any mobile also recent one, you can check it. So up to 2 terabyte of memory card support is there. Of course, exFAT, exFAT more than 32 GB. It support more than 32 GB. So you are having a new SD card, like you purchase a 64 GB SD card or 128 GB SD card. You insert it into your mobile. Immediately it will ask format with exFAT. Okay. So more convenient purpose, instead of FAT, we are using exFAT. Resilient file system, REFS, resilient file system. Okay, it is use an algorithm called CRC to prevent the data from corruption. In Linux and Unix, we use ext type of file system, ext, ext2, ext3, ext4, okay, XFS kind of file systems. If you are sharing a data, so we can share a data from Linux or Windows system, or Linux to Linux, or Linux to Windows, or Windows to Windows, Windows to Linux. Okay, so we are sharing a files. Point is, Windows file system like a NTFS file system does not understand by Linux or Unix operating system, right? Windows does not understand ext3, ext4. So how to do? While you are sharing a data from one file system, one system to another system, or same system, we follow the network file system, NFS or CAFS. So assembly file system. So forget about it. Okay, so what is the network file sharing related file system is NFS, network file system, CAFS, common internet file system. It is also called as a Samba file system. DVD use universal disk format. Okay guys, different type of file systems. What is the meaning of format? Anybody? What is format in our computer?
Format, we can say like a which type of structure.
Very good. Generally, format, when you hear the format word, so we think it is format means cleanup. Now guys, format means define file system. Meaning what file system it should be there. Okay. It should be NTFS. It should be a FAT file system. I have a pen drive. It is already NTFS. Already NTFS. Now I want to do format to NTFS. Same, redefine the file system. While doing file system, you may lose the data. While defining or redefining while defining or redefining file system, data may lost. Data may last. It is not compulsory also. Okay. So in our olden days, we have a just for a student practice, not recent years, guys. It's 10 years back. I'm telling story. Okay. That time we show a student how to format a drives like a NTFS all there. So how to reformat, or maybe it is a FAT to NTFS or NTFS to FAT, how to convert it. And also we showed how to convert FAT file system to NTFS without losing data. Normally you lost the data, but without losing data also you can format it using commands. FAT to NTFS, not NTFS to FAT, but FAT to NTFS without losing the data also we can able to change the format. Using commands are available. Okay, just that's why I said may lose the data, not compulsory, but most of the time you lost the data. Okay, that is a point. That is a file system and disk management, and then MBR and GPT. Okay, guys, the next part I will going to show you boot processing and troubleshooting possible. Troubleshooting at a boot processing. For boot processing, MBR is required. That's why I showed. In a troubleshooting also, at least 2-3 issues you will able to understand. Okay. So afternoon we'll see about operating system related, like what is BSOD, what is safe mode, those kind of stuff. So maybe we don't get much time for Outlook and VPN. If we get a time, then I will discuss. Otherwise, I have a last time we discussed that Outlook and VPN. That is, I will give you information. Okay. Very recently, that power set kind of stuff also launched, given the VPN kind of information. That is also given. I shared certain